Welcome to Comicazi Videodrome. That's Miracle Max.
That's Comicazi Mike, and we're here to talk to you about the comics you could be reading. New, old graphic novels.
By Crom, let's get started. So you've read The Kitchen, right?
Yeah.
The new Vertigo title
really good. I always like reading a new Vertigo #1. It's just always really interesting because Vertigo has it's got such a good reputation.
It does.
For telling like really good long form stories.
And I think they're in a kind of a rebirth, renewal type of phase. Not like a DC New 52, but they're looking for their next Sandman, Fables, their spine book.
It's interesting you bring up the New 52 because the New 52 I think did Vertigo a service by sort of like just taking back some of those characters people want to associate with the DC universe. John Constantine, Swamp Thing, Animal Man, all those characters that branched off into Vertigo but eventually kind of stagnated that line of comics, I'll say. And now they're looking for new stuff. They're looking for new ideas. I think they're shaping themselves as them, and Image Comics, I guess, at the same time, are shaping themselves as sort of like idea people.
Yeah, and I was excited for The Kitchen because it's drawn by Ming Doyle.
Phenomenal artist. She's great. She drew Mara with Brian Wood. Well, Brian Wood wrote it. She drew it. Jordi Belair, I believe, did the colors. It's an awesome... check out Mara. It's so cool. It's very...
It's like sports science fiction.
It starts off as like a sports science fiction, and when I think of a sports comic, I immediately think of like manga. In Japan, there's a lot of basketball, tennis, soccer comics, and they're all pretty unique. This one starts off as a sci-fi volleyball story, and eventually branches out into like some 2001 high concept science fiction, which is awesome. I love stories that take big jumps. And this story, every issue...
Seemingly left turns,
Yes, this character, Mara, she figures out that she has, like, essentially a new power every issue. And she just increases exponentially in superpower. And she finds herself more and more distant from a society that used to hail her as, like, her star. She was...
Yeah, it's a bit of a commentary on celebrity too.
Yeah, and it's sci-fi, and Ming does awesome sci-fi. But
she goes the entire other direction in The Kitchen, and it's back in the 70s. I got
Hell's Kitchen, New York.
Yeah, I got like a grindhouse feel from it, like the tone of the book.
Definitely not like gory, over the top grindhouse, but just like a taxi driver kind of.
Yeah, very much.
Gritty story, and it's written by a gentleman named Ollie Masters. This is his first comic.
I was gonna say I do not recall the name at all.
He pitched the comic. It's very much like a Lethal Weapon situation where he pitched the comic to the editor.
He said he was too old for this shit.
No, I forget the name of the guy who wrote Lethal Weapon, but that was his first script too, or something like that.
Intriguing.
And this is this is his version of that, where he pitched this comic to the Vertigo editor. Vertigo editor liked him so much, set him up with Ming freaking Doyle for an artist. She's awesome, and
I'm so glad she's getting more work and she's getting her name out there. This was a fun book. I really enjoyed it, and I think you guys would too.
Yep. So check it out. Subscribe to it.
Speaking of subscriptions, why don't you give a listen to Tresh and Renee?
Hi, I'm Tresha.
And I'm Renee.
And at Comicazi, supporting your local comic shop means discounts for you.
Did you know that by subscribing to just one title, you are granted a 10% discount on all new comics and graphic novels?
We only ask that you stop by once a month to pick up your discounted titles.
We also offer excellent mail order subscriptions that are delivered right to your front door with free shipping included.
So support your local comic shop in a meaningful way.
Become a Comicazi subscriber today.
Welcome back to the Videodrome 100 Greatest Graphic Novels in no particular order.
None.
I'm Miracle Max.
I'm Comicazi Mike.
And we've got some awesome 4 books. We got a DC book, a Marvel book, an independent, and an all ages title, which in this case is a Marvel book. It happens. The first book in front of me is one of my favorite books of the last couple of years, the Wonder Woman relaunch out of the New 52. It was really good. It was by Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang and Tony Akins and I'm sure a couple other artists. But it's just an awesome revamp of Wonder Woman. It's just it's a solid reboot. In case you haven't heard by now, she is in fact the daughter of Zeus, which is pretty cool. Crazy, right? And she is embarking on this awesome journey that looks at all the Greek gods and sort of revamps the DC pantheon, makes it something really special and unique. Like, each of these characters has a unique look beyond just, a dude in a robe with a trident and a beard, I'm Poseidon,
Yeah.
Or like a lady in a robe with a spear, I'm Athena, or whatever.
That's one of my favorite aspects of Wonder Woman is the mythology aspect of her.
Yeah.
And I love that Azzarello is really sinking his teeth into that, and that's this whole run.
Yeah, and this run finished up. It involved the new gods. It introduced some other gods. There is a Wesley Willis character. I don't know if you know Wesley Willis, but he is the man. But there's a character that's clearly supposed to be Wesley Willis. Highly recommend you check out the new Wonder Woman out of the New 52. Really good. Moving on, what do you got in front of you, Mike?
I have the Manhattan Project.
Jonathan Hickman,
and the scribe of scribes.
Yeah. Manhattan Projects is really cool. It's doing that sort of history.
Alternate history about
Science fiction.
Hickman does science fiction, and he does it really well. And this is Oppenheimer and FDR and Einstein and just all those scientists who created the atom bomb, but they're actually working on more than you think.
Yes, it's really fun, really expansive, and it's been running around for a while. They're on volume 4 or 5 right now.
Volume 4, I think. I actually was recently on vacation, and I just went through the first 3 volumes, and I loved it. And I love the tagline for Manhattan Projects.
What is it?
Science bad.
Ray Frankenstein. Speaking of science bad, we got the Invincible Iron Man Armor Wars.
One of his best stories ever,
yes,
I think.
I said bad, but it's a good story. But it's kind of bad for Tony Stark as people are stealing his designs for the Iron Man and making their own sort of perverted versions of them. Here's where we're introduced to characters such as the Ironmonger and the Guardsmen of the Vault. I like those guys.
I like the Guardsmen, yeah.
They're pretty cool. I think Unicorn shows up. Pretty much it's just all
the armored characters in the Marvel Universe have some element of Stark technology,
which is cool,
operating their armors, and Stark he's just like, that's mine. I didn't license that out to anybody. I am now on a crusade to take back my armor technology, and I will do whatever it takes. So he goes after the Guardsmen, as you mentioned, and that's where he crosses a line, and the Avengers want him to stop, and Captain America, that's where his relationship with Cap strains, which eventually leads to Civil War stuff.
Yeah, the movie universe borrows a lot from Iron Man.
It does.
Check it out.
And lastly, we have the Runaways by Brian K. Vaughan.
Runaways, I'm sure you've heard about it. It's very much some teen superheroes in the Marvel Universe, and they figure out that their parents are bad guys, and it's really, really cool.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, there's new characters.
It's all new characters, to be honest.
But some of their parents, I think, harken back to old characters, old villains, being really washed up. And the kids are new, but there's the tie to the Marvel Universe is
through these
the parents are old villains, and they run away.
Yep, and they run away, and they decide whether they want to be good guys or bad guys by themselves. And it's really fun, perfect for all ages.
Yes. And speaking of running away, I think they, after viewing this, should run away to a new window and subscribe right here to the Comicazi YouTube channel.
Check it out. Subscribe. I'd click it for you, but I can't reach. So Videodrome is filmed at Comicazi in Somerville, Massachusetts, and we got awesome stuff. We got new toys, old toys, new comics, old comics, subscriptions, an awesome eBay store. Check us out. We are the best comic book store on the East Coast, bar none.